There's a weapon hiding in plain sight that nobody talks about. It's not taught in business schools. Military academies whisper about it but never put it in the manuals. The most successful people in history used it relentlessly, yet if you ask them directly, they'll probably never admit it. This weapon has toppled empires, built fortunes, and destroyed careers of those who ignored it. Watch until the end, because what you're about to discover will fundamentally change how you move through the world. Trust me, you'll be surprised. How silence became the ultimate psychological weapon in modern warfare. Here's something that'll blow your mind. In modern psychological operations, the most devastating tactic isn't what you say. It's what you deliberately don't say. Military interrogators learned this decades ago. When you want real information from someone, you don't pressure them with questions. You sit in complete silence and watch them fill the void. Humans are hardwired to hate silence. We'll say almost anything to break it. Think about the last time you were in an uncomfortable silence. Your brain went into overdrive, right? You probably started talking just to fill the space. That's exactly the vulnerability that trained operatives exploit. During the Cold War, some of the most valuable intelligence wasn't extracted through torture or threats. It came from skilled interrogators who simply knew when to shut up and let the target's anxiety do the work. But here's where it gets really interesting. For your life, every single day, you're in psychological battles you don't even recognize. That job interview where you nervously filled every pause with extra information, you probably talked yourself out of a higher salary. That negotiation where you kept explaining your position, you revealed your bottom line without anyone even asking. That argument where you had to have the last word, you gave away emotional control and probably made things worse. The tech industry figured this out fast. When major companies are developing breakthrough products, they don't just keep it secret from competitors. They create entire disinformation campaigns. Engineers working on different components don't even know what the final product is. Apple became legendary for this. Employees would work on projects for years without understanding how their piece fit into the puzzle. Why? Because every person who knows something is a potential leak. Every conversation is a risk. Every word is a vulnerability. Look at how venture capitalists operate. The best ones rarely talk about their investment strategies. They don't brag about their portfolio moves on social media. They don't give away their analysis frameworks in interviews. While amateur investors are busy posting their hot takes and predictions, the pros are quietly accumulating positions, building relationships, and executing strategies that won't be visible until it's too late for anyone else to benefit. By the time you hear about their success, the opportunity is already gone. And here's the brutal reality. Your words are being used against you right now. Every opinion you post online is being analyzed. Every strategy you share is being studied. Every vulnerability you expose is being cataloged. The digital age didn't just make information more accessible. It made silence more powerful than ever before. But there's something even more dangerous than revealing your strategies. And most people do it every single day without realizing. What happens when you stop broadcasting your moves and start controlling the narrative? Let me hit you with the disturbing truth. Every time you announce your goals publicly, you're basically handing your competition a roadmap to stop you. Sounds harsh? Look at the data. Psychologists studied this extensively. When people publicly commit to goals, they experience what's called social reality. Their brain releases dopamine from the acknowledgement alone. You get the reward without doing the work. Your motivation actually decreases because you've already received the emotional payoff. Now flip that script. What if, instead of announcing, you just executed in silence? While everyone else is busy crafting the perfect announcement post, optimizing their personal brand, explaining their vision to anyone who'll listen, you're actually building. No distractions. No energy wasted on managing perceptions. No anxiety about what people think. Just pure, focused execution. The special operations community lives by this principle. Navy SEALs have a saying, quiet professionals. They don't talk about missions. They don't post photos of their training. They don't write books about tactics until they're retired and the information is declassified. Why? Because silence is operational security. The moment you broadcast your capabilities, you lose tactical advantage. Your enemies adapt. Your element of surprise vanishes. This applies directly to your career. That promotion you want? Stop telling everyone you're going after it. Just demonstrate the value quietly until it's undeniable. That business you're building? Stop posting about your journey and start building something so undeniable that people can't ignore the results. That skill you're developing? Master it in silence. Then let your work speak so loudly that words become unnecessary. Here's what happens when you embrace strategic silence. People start watching you differently. There's a phenomenon in psychology called the mystery effect. When someone doesn't constantly broadcast their life, thoughts, and plans, others perceive them as more competent and more powerful. Scarcity creates value. This works with information too. When you're not constantly available, constantly explaining, constantly justifying, you become more respected. Criminal investigators use a technique called the pregnant pause. After asking a question, they stop talking completely. The silence becomes so uncomfortable that suspects start filling it with information they never intended to share. You can use this exact same technique in business meetings, negotiations, even personal relationships. Ask your question, then shut up. Watch people reveal far more than they plan. The real power move? Learning to be comfortable in silence while everyone else squirms. That's mastery. Why? Every word you speak is either building your empire or destroying it. Here's a hard pill to swallow. Most people talk themselves out of success, not because they say the wrong things, but because they say anything at all when silence would serve them better. In professional poker, there's a concept called table talk. Amateurs use it to seem confident, to psych out opponents, to fill nervous energy. Professionals? They observe. They analyze. They speak only when it gives them strategic advantage. Championship-level poker players can sit at a table for 12 hours and speak maybe 30 sentences. Every word is intentional. Every response is calculated. They're not being antisocial. They're being lethal. Because in that environment, every piece of information you give away your mood, your confidence level, your strategy, your tells is ammunition for someone trying to take your money. Your career is the same game, just with different stakes. Every time you complain about your boss to a coworker, you're creating a weakness in your armor. Every time you share your frustration about a project in a meeting, you're signaling you're not the person to lead the next one. Every time you explain why something can't be done, you're programming yourself and others to see you as someone who finds problems instead of solutions. The intelligence community trains operatives in something called gray man theory. The goal is to be so unremarkable, so forgettable, so silent that you can operate anywhere without attracting attention. You blend into any environment. You observe everything while revealing nothing. This isn't about being invisible. It's about being strategically unmemorable until the exact moment you choose to stand out. For the next 7 days, practice radical filtering. Before speaking in any professional setting, ask yourself, does this sentence build power or leak it? If you can't answer clearly, stay silent. Watch what happens. Watch how people lean in more when you speak less. Watch how your words carry more weight when they're rare. Watch how you start noticing things you missed when you were busy talking. The ancient Spartans were famous for laconic speech, saying more with less. When Philip II of Macedon threatened them with, "If I invade, I will destroy your cities," they responded with one word. If. That's power. Not explain, not justifying, not negotiating. Just pure, concentrated communication that left no room for misinterpretation. You want to know the real secret? Silence isn't just about protecting information. It's about accumulating power while everyone else is bleeding it away through their mouth. Drop the word power in the comments and answer me this. What's one thing you've been talking about doing for months that you're going to execute in complete silence starting today? Drop it below. If this video is hitting different, smash that like button right now and subscribe to this channel because we're just scratching the surface. And there's one more level to this that changes everything. How silence transforms your brain into an unfair advantage. Everything we've covered so far has been about external strategy, protecting information, controlling narratives, managing perception. But now, we're going deep into something most people never discover: what silence does to your actual brain chemistry and cognitive performance. And this is where things get wild. Neuroscientists discovered something fascinating. The brain regions responsible for processing speech, both speaking and listening, consume massive amounts of energy. When you're constantly talking or consuming verbal information, your brain is in a perpetual state of reactive processing. You're using mental resources just to keep up with the conversation. But when you enter strategic silence, something remarkable happens. Your brain shifts into what's called default mode network activation. This is where breakthrough thinking happens. This is where pattern recognition kicks in. This is where you start seeing connections that others miss completely. Einstein developed his theory of relativity during long, silent walks. Darwin conceived natural selection during years of quiet observation. The breakthrough ideas that change the world don't come from brainstorming sessions and constant discussion. They come from deep, silent thinking that most people are too addicted to noise to ever experience. Professional athletes figured this out years ago. Michael Jordan was famous for his pre-game silence. While teammates were talking trash, playing music, hyping each other up, Jordan would sit quietly, visualizing every play, running mental simulations, preparing his mind like a weapon. By the time he stepped on the court, he'd already played the game in his head 10 times. That's not superstition. That's cognitive optimization through strategic silence. In the business world, some of the most successful CEOs practice what they call thinking time. Warren Buffett spends about 80% of his day just reading and thinking. Not in meetings, not networking, not performing, just processing information in silence and making decisions that move billions of dollars. Jeff Bezos implemented silent starts for meetings at Amazon. Everyone sits and reads a memo in complete silence before any discussion begins. Why? Because silent processing leads to better decisions than reactive conversation. Tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, before you talk to anyone, spend 30 minutes in complete silence. No music, no podcast, no TV. Just you and your thoughts. It'll be uncomfortable at first. Your brain will scream for stimulation. Push through. Use that time to think deeply about one problem you've been avoiding or one opportunity you've been too busy to fully consider. Do this daily for 2 weeks and watch how your decision-making transforms. Drop execution in the comments and tell me, what's the one project you're going to build in absolute silence and reveal only when it's undeniable? I want to hear it. If this video changed how you see communication and power, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it right now, and subscribe, because we're digging up more secrets of high performance that nobody else is talking about. The most dangerous person in any room is the one who's comfortable saying nothing while everyone else fills the silence with their weaknesses. Now you know why. Occasional content. Use ethically and responsibly. We do not encourage unethical or illegal practices.